Welcome to this week's Workshop Wednesday, where we're going to go through what's new for August 2024. So let's go ahead and get started and see what's happening. Inside the world of Google Analytics, there are a couple of updates that we're going to want to go through, and something you might have been seeing inside of Google Analytics and even inside of Google Tag Manager. We're just going to hop in until we get to certain parts of our data stream where we have our configure our tag settings. We're going to see this thing where they're calling it your tag diagnostics. And we can click on this thing where it says one issue, and then you can see it says untagged, see untagged pages. And it seems a little bit scary since it's like, oh, you have all these issues, and sometimes you'll be like, there are 700 issues. But from everything that we have seen over the past month and all the different accounts that we've gone in and all the different members we've talked to, we have yet to see anybody that this is like a true issue. As you can see, these are like old demo sites. We're going through and cleaning up, and there's some old, the WP admin. Oh my goodness, we don't have our GTM code on WP admin. It can't go there, so it's not an issue. So just be very aware that maybe your clients might be going back here and seeing this. So you might want to get ahead of it and be like, hey, this is a new feature that Google released, and right now it's just kind of throwing up a bunch of false positives by showing kind of behind the scenes dev sites, or maybe the admin type stuff that you're not really ever going to need to measure, or some old pages. So we're monitoring it, but as of right now, there's nothing you need to do. That's what you could let your client know. What you can do is go ahead and check on these, and you can select all of them. But then you can choose to ignore them. I'm not doing this right now because this is our teaching site and we want to be able to show people exactly how to do that, but you just ignore them, and then you won't have to worry about that anymore until there is something new. Now you do see the same thing inside of Google Tag Manager, and it should reflect the exact same thing if you're in the same account. See untagged pages, and the good thing is if you ignore it or fix it on one platform like Google Tag Manager, then it's going to reflect over on Google Analytics. And so just be aware that you're going to have a lot of false positives, and your clients might be freaking out a little bit like, oh my goodness, something's wrong. It does seem a little scary, especially in Tag Manager where it's just like right here in front of your face constantly. But just be aware, go through it, kind of go through slowly possibly, and see if there's anything that you need to adjust if needed, and otherwise ignore them so this all these alerts go away. So that is the one big update for Google Analytics and Tag Manager. There is another really big update that I want to kind of go through, and it kind of goes with all of this fun way your tag is being implemented. But first, I want to go in order of all of our updates, and that has to do with our BigQuery stuff. And so BigQuery had a couple of updates throughout the past 30 days, and some of them were event ordering editions. That's what we're calling these, event ordering editions. So you have all kind of new parts and pieces that you're going to be able to utilize inside of BigQuery from GA4. And so for those of you that are not using BigQuery yet, that is okay. Just know that whenever you're ready to start using the platform, the platform is getting better and better. And from some of the other updates that we're seeing, and so this one right here is about, they have more of the UTMs back there inside of BigQuery. So from what we're seeing is BigQuery is becoming more accessible and easier to use for maybe those like me and maybe you, where it's just like, oh, it's a little bit too hard to get our data from cause I don't know SQL, and I don't, I'm just going to go get my data a different way. And for like our instructor, Manisha, she's like super excited and saying that it's the way that they're going. It's definitely going to make it a lot easier for even people that don't know SQL to use the platform. So just all these little updates that we're seeing are really, really exciting with for Google Tag Manager, or excuse me, Google Analytics and BigQuery. And so there's one more. So And then they changed another export schema so just lots of little things that are going on with BigQuery. So if you don't know anything about BigQuery, just know that the platform is getting better. And then I'm actually going to share exactly the verbiage that Google is telling us, because I think it's kind of interesting the way that they're saying this is I'm going to get rid of you. And so it's saying we've improved both of these things that happen. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. So we've improved the process, they're attributing data for those channel groups. And so if you're like, what is a channel group? And I promise you know exactly what a channel group if you've been using Google Analytics. And you go into your regular old reports, and let's say we want to see our acquisition reports, and we want to go to traffic acquisition. If by default, if you haven't customized this, you are looking at your channel groups. And so what it's saying is that it's made their logic behind the scenes a little bit more useful. And so that way you're not going to have so much traffic attributed to this direct. So direct traffic is basically, we don't know where they came from. They just showed up and got here. And so what Google is saying is that they cleaned up their logic a little bit, and they're having it so it's not as many are going to show up to direct. So the other piece that we need to be very, very careful of is that there is another update. And we're going to come in here back to our tag settings, and depending on how you have your tag installed, Google is now saying, I'm going to actually pop back over to the other screen. It says you now must have the config command. Now, if you're using Google Tag Manager, you don't need to worry about this. But if you do have your Google Analytics configured through the regular old Google Tag, then, or possibly with some sort of other plugin or something, you need to be aware of this, and if you're seeing a lot of not sets, you might have an implementation issue. And so I'll let you kind of read through all of that. But yes, if you need to make sure that you have a config command or the Google tag installed, so make sure that it is working the way it is supposed to. This is a change. And so if you're seeing a lot of not sets, then you need to make sure your code is implemented correctly. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of a change here from what we had seen before. Install manually. And so here is, so if you've already have the code on your page and this is what your code looks like on your page, then very likely you don't have to make any changes. Just go look and see if you have a lot of not sets or anything like that, or an overabundance. Or if you're not sure, drop a comment and let us know. We'd be happy to, kind of troubleshoot with you to see what's going on. But again, if you're using Google Tag Manager, you don't have to worry about any of this. And so again, maybe this is the time for you to go through and set it up so you don't ever have to worry about any of this stuff ever again. So just be aware. And if you're looking for where would you see the not sets, that could be just basically anywhere in these different reports, mainly under events and stuff, but it could be anywhere where there would just be an abundance of not sets, or just more than what you would typically see. So that is what's new inside of the world with measurement marketing. Actually, I take that back. There's one more thing I'm going to show you inside of Looker Studio. If you have the Looker Studio Pro Edition, you are now able to use Gemini inside of Looker Studio. And so we don't have that one because we'd like to teach off the free version, and it's brand new. So we're just going to let everyone kind of get the kinks out before we dive in and start utilizing it. But summertime is typically not much of the updates inside the measurement world, but the fall is usually when we see quite a few updates. So just make sure you stay tuned on this particular workshop where we tell you every single first Wednesday of the month what's going on, just because the fall there's constantly updates that are happening, and so probably lots of big changes we're expecting over the next several months for that. So make sure you stay tuned on that. So what was your one thing, the thing that you can take away and start applying right now? Love to hear about it in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, if you are somebody who really is marketing the blind, not sure what's working, what's not, and you want to be able to reliably grow your revenue profits, you want a measurement strategy. You're tired of kind of fumbling around in the dark. You want to know what to do, what button to push, what lever to pull. If this is you, we have a strategy for you, and we actually have a free course out there for you to watch, and this is kind of a very, very, very high level overview just to see if this is something that might interest you. And so we start out with the plan, build, and launch, those 3 different steps. And your plan, you have to know what questions to ask, the information you need to answer those questions, and the actions you're going to take. Now, if you could take away one thing from this workshop, this is the piece that I would want you to take away. Because with working with thousands of different companies and so many different people, this is the thing that is forgotten. They forget to plan, and then they start trying to just build things that they don't really know if they actually need. And the main thing that they need to do is ask questions. What questions do they have? The information that they need is going to help them answer it. And then as long as these questions lead to action, they're going to be able to move forward and grow. And then you have to tie into results, like how many conversions did you get? And then where did that traffic come from for those conversions? And let's pull it together, all the information that we're getting, and pull it into a story so we can listen, forecast, and optimize, meaning understanding the story and really truly understanding, oh, they're not hanging around for 10 seconds. Something must be going on, or all these different things you can understand from what your data is telling you. And then you have to have a forecast. We have a little saying internally that says WTF, where's the forecast? Because every dashboard should have a forecast so you know where you're going. And then finally, we're able to optimize. And then we go through this over and over and over again so we can continually level up our skills, our dashboards, our measurement, as well as our user journeys for ourselves, our clients. And so if this is something that this type of strategy is something you want for yourself, you can look into the Measurement Marketing Academy. Like I said, there's a free course out there for you. But if you want to know more about the different courses and stuff, you can see which option would be better for you. Measure.tips/Get Academy. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.